Welcome to another episode of the Mitchell Film Club. My name is MJ.
This is Omega.
You got Gabe?
And today we are here to discuss love in film. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, we smoking some weed right now. I'm sorry. we just chilling.
Smoking marijuana?
Y'all got any plans for Valentine's Day?
Hell no.
Y'all just chilling?
That's it for me, man.
Thinking back being bold?
Hell no. I'm gonna be on a bus back to Canada. That's what's gonna happen on Valentine's Day.
No, so you're not, when are you leaving? Should we discuss it?
Well, I do travel a lot, so I am leaving on the 14th. Because I'm going to be taking pictures at the Toronto Black Film Festival.
Nice. Okay.
So it is film related, so we can't talk about it.
I'm just like, hey, you want to go home, you know? Yeah, no, I feel you.
Bro, Earth is my home.
True.
I don't really have a home.
True, that is very true.
But about this love, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite, or at least a movie that comes to mind about love?
Love.
Love and basketball.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
most stuff.
That was a pretty,
I haven't seen it forever.
no, yeah, it's been a minute, but I mean, that movie, like watching that movie was like one of the first times I saw black love and really was like invested, like not just like this feels like a black movie. Like I felt like I was just watching a movie and I was totally invested. So
Most stuff. I would say Poetic Justice.
ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Brown Sugar.
Brown Sugar. That's also a good one. What's the one with hold up.
Tay Diggs with Sanaa Lathan. Most Def. Nicole Ari Parker. Boris Kojo. Queen Latifah.
What is
Wendell Pierce. Huh? I'm sorry? Brown Sugar.
Oh, Brown Sugar.
Yeah. How Stella got her groove back. That was another good one. What's one of y'all like favorite couples in the movie though?
Favorite couples?
Yeah, like you can think of.
Couple.
That's hard. I know I have one.
Yeah, same. Dragon Ball Z. Bulma and Vegeta. I think that's it.
Bulma and Vegeta.
Bulma and Vegeta. That's like a really good couple.
I never watched Dragon Ball Z.
Damn.
Alright, that would be for another episode. That would be for another episode. Man, like the ones I can think of right now is the classic Cosby's, the Huxtables.
The Huxtables?
Yeah, I think they displayed like it almost looked like their love was unrealistic, but it still felt real, like it was possible to have something like that where it's just like these are two parents. They didn't even look stressed out being parents, which what made it feel unrealistic. Cause like you have mad kids and you
have
don't
a crazy job.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying. Like there is some stress level to y'all jobs.
Like it's too perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so reminding me like their relationship, like I guess like the spirit of their relationship reminded me of like my aunt and uncle. Like they're like my favorite couple in real life. So the way that they're able to like work well together joke with each other, make fun of their kids together, and like the way they have like each other's backs, like reminded me of like the Huxtables, like the way that they are with their kids, you know. So that in some aspects there was some like realism to it to a point.
No, I hear that. I'm not gonna lie, like I didn't watch that much of the Cosby Show. Like I would like see episodes here or there, like never like all the way through. I don't know why it never was on my radar, but I mean, from my perspective, it was always kind of like, you know, the perfect family, you know, the perfect kids, you know, like there was always going to be trouble or whatnot, but there was always going to be a solution at the end.
Yeah.
That was just me looking in from the outside, or me just observing from the outside, but, you know, I mean, it looked like, what was Cosby and his wife's name? Something Huxtable?
Claire,
like Bill and Claire Huxtable. Whatever. It looked like they had like really good chemistry or whatever.
Yeah, they definitely had good acting chemistry.
Oh, okay.
Cause it's not like after the Cosbys, they had another show together.
What's that?
It was called the Cosby Show, which was
shit.
weird. But but they had this time around they only had one child together.
Oh,
but yeah, and it was totally different from, you know, the Cosbys. So like, what is it about the stuff that we see on TV, in films, in music, and how does that affect the way we love?
Right.
You know, like I want to ask y'all that. Like,
I feel like Western. I don't know if love, like the way I see it portrayed in Disney films and, you know, mainstream media, really, I don't even know what love. I'm still figuring out what love is, and I just don't know if I even want it, if it's going to be what I see in mainstream media, you know what I mean? Like, if that's what it is, I don't know if it works for me, you know? And that's just me being real.
What about you, Omega?
I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know, for me in love, like, especially from like a black cinema standpoint, it's been hard for me because never, like, I mean, especially growing up in a time where I like did, and there's not. Sure, I mean, I live in a black household, and there are things that come with that, but still in my environment, I was very kind of ostracized, not like by my community or, you know, something else, but.
You mean being ostracized within the black community?
No, I mean just like myself. I was very much a recluse. Like I didn't.
Oh, okay.
You know, I was just that kind of kid.
Gotcha.
So, I didn't really reach out too much. Like
Gotcha.
I was very quiet and I was not very open.
No, I was the same way, dude.
Yeah. So, but I mean, like watching films like Love and Basketball, and then I mean, let's see. I don't know why I can't think of any more. Like that's ridiculous.
I can't either.
Because it's like we don't really watch like
that's not our
and like the films that we've talked about, if they do show love, it's a very, I guess, humanistic way of showing love. So we're not looking at it as a like pop culture. Like we're not comparing it to pop culture in a sense, right? Like because a lot of like the stuff that we watch, like as far as like films, right? Like never mind TV shows, but films, they may show love in a brief aspect. It's not the whole story. Like we're not sitting down watching chick flicks, right? We're not watching The Notebook.
Yeah.
Cause like,
I mean, not on a daily basis.
Yeah.
We're not like studying that.
Yeah, we're not studying that. You know,
analyzing that shit.
I think like when it comes to like media and like what sort of like shaped the way I think of love is more music. You know, like R&B music,
bro. Like I can relate to like R&B's, not like 90s R&B more than I can relate to most like romantic films.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, that's because sometimes like the delivery, most of like rom-coms, like I mean a good rom-com I can sit through, but like. A cheesy one is just like...
I can't connect with it. I can't connect... Because there's certain couples, even if it's like a black couple, there's certain things that I'm not super connected with. Like, I could understand why it's placed the way it's placed or whatever, but it doesn't hit me the way an R&B song or just like a song in general that's about love or heartbreak or anything that you've gone through or is currently going through or whatever, whether it's good or bad, right? Like, you can listen to an R&B song when you're in love, right? And it's like,
yo,
and it hits way different, right? It hits you way different than when you're not in love. Like, it's just a song where it's just like you might hope for that type of love, right? And it's the same thing when like you go through a breakup and you're listening to a song that is describing exactly what your breakup is, how you felt. Like, it's almost scary. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How did they know type shit?
Yeah, like, oh, this person. But then you also feel like, oh, this person I connect with this artist, right? Like, there's a connection between you and the artist because they are explaining how it is you feel.
Yeah. So in romantic movies, I never related to the dude. I feel like I was just so different from all the dudes and
I
all
agree
these.
with you, yeah.
It's like,
I mean, they're kind of like unicorns.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're not like real people, I guess. But I guess they are real people because there's people like that out there, and they had to get inspired by something. But just not me. You know, so it's cool seeing, you know, like that portrayed. But I don't know. I guess, you know, me being a guy, a heterosexual guy, it's kind of like those expectations are like, and I guess I'm generalizing here too, because, you know, it's like I'm saying this about like all romantic films in general, and there's so many different types.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's like every situation with a significant other is so different, and for you to look at like what's being presented on a screen and try to compare that to your life is like kind of doing you a disservice, because it's like you're saying, all right, how can I make my? I mean, I'm not saying like this is how everybody thinks, but like I'm saying, but I feel like the way film works in general is that you relate your life to what you're seeing on screen, and so you're inclined to be like, all right, how does my life compare to these lives, and how you end up thinking like, all right, how can I make my relationship or my potential relationship be more like what I'm seeing on the screen? You know, that's just how I view. I'm not saying I'm a very cynical person, you know, in general. Like, I'm very pragmatic and cynical, so that's just the way I view when it comes to romance and
while you were talking, I was thinking about Insecure.
Okay.
The TV
I love
show
that show.
Insecure. Like,
really good.
I think that's if there's anything that I can relate to as far as like relationships or whatever, is like the TV show Insecure. I think that they have like a good spectrum of the type of men I'm sure women deal with.
Modern men, yeah.
Like, and there's a spectrum of women that us smarter men deal with. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like, and I feel like also too, like sometimes when we do listen to like music and TV and watch TV shows or like movies or whatever, that there's always been like this sort of battle between men versus women, right? Like, who suffered the most, or who hurts who, like who's hurt who the most, this, that, and the third, and it's like sometimes like I look at it and I'm like, yo, like, you're not looking at the broader picture. Like, it's not. It's like, yes, it sucks that you might deal with these certain types of men, and yes, it sucks that you might deal with these certain type of women, but sometimes you have to like look at the bigger picture and be like, okay, what is it about me? What is it about these men or these women? What is it about these people that I'm attracting, and
why am I gravitating towards these?
Yeah,
people?
and why am I gravitating towards these people? That like I have to step back and be like, okay, maybe I have to change this, that, and the third, and maybe the things that you have to change, you might not want to change because they've helped you get to where you need to be.
Right. Exactly. So you can't conceptualize your life without the things that you've done the way you've done them up to this far. So it's like, if I start to change, will my life decline? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, well, I've been building up towards this all this time, and now it's like, oh, but I kind of want to change the direction of the way things are going, but that could just lead my life in a completely different direction, you know?
True. And I feel like that's where, like, when we look at these things that help us escape, even if we're, you know, these things are reminding us of our pain or our love or whatever, like, we still use these outlets to sort of, like, shift our focus on, like, what the actual situation is.
Instead of it being about, like, race or anything?
Yeah, just, like, in general, like, just, like, whatever it is you watch, right? It doesn't have to be a black movie for you to connect with it, or, like, a black song for you to connect with, right? Like I'm sure there's, like, a rock song or whatever, like a ballad, you know what I'm saying? That like, sort of, like,
if it's good,
it's good and it hits you, like, you know, it hits you.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things, like, you know, bachata music or merengue, which is like Caribbean Latin music. When I listen to it, I have, like, a physical response to it, because it's like it touches something so deep, I guess, and it's like, wow, these guys are talking about love, and I can kind of relate to what they're saying, even though I don't understand their language. It's like, this is some deep shit, you know. Yeah. So I mean, it go. I guess that I say all that to say, you know, like, love is kind of like a it's similar, but it's different, you know. Like, we all have similar experiences with significant others, but at the same time, you know, it's not the same, but the emotions are, I guess. Like, the euphoric feeling you feel when you really like somebody could be
the beginning stages to the middle stages, and
what's it called,
the beginning is always the best part.
The honeymoon, you know. And then sometimes, like, you know, there's couples that I know that, like, they've been together for, like, 8 years and they're still in their, like, honeymoon.
Oh, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's and I've noticed, like, the difference between, like, really great couples and, like, the couples that you can tell aren't gonna last. Like, there's something about, like, you know how, like, you meet an individual, right? And there's something about an individual that just has, like, a kindred spirit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, like, whether you're meeting this person for just a moment in life, or, you know, you've known this person pretty much most of your life, like, you still see this person, you're like, this person is consistent and in their spirit. You know what I'm saying? They're not perfect. Nobody's perfect.
Of course.
But, like, in their essence, they have that good spirit, right? Like, it's the same thing with, like, a couple, like, you see that's, like, really good for each other. Like, there's this sort of, like, spirit that they have.
The chemistry is
on point. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not perfect. You know what I'm saying? But they work well together.
Right.
Like,
they're
on the same page. They're on the same team. You know what I'm saying? And, like, they're able to hold each other accountable. Like, they know how to communicate with one another. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses. Like, I got a chance to spend time with my brother and his wife, and they've been married for about, I want to say, 15 years. And
good for them.
When I'm talking to his wife, right? Like, my brother and I, we share the same parents. You know, we're not half brothers, anything like that. So we have similar personalities, the way we deal with shit or whatever, right? Like, the way like him and I, we're both two people who, like, we're thinkers. Like, we're sometimes we'll just be quiet. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to do with me not feeling like talking to you or anything like that. It's just like, sometimes we just gotta work shit out in our head, and it's just like, give me the space to work this shit out in my head.
For sure.
So when I talk to his wife, like, just on the side, right? And I'm not even talking about my brother, right? Like, we'll just talk about something in general, and then it will just remind her something about my brother, and she'll be like, yeah, it's kind of like when your brother just, I know when he's just, like, in his mode, when he's just thinking. Like, when he's quiet, like, when I know he's quiet, I know that's when it's just like, I gotta back off for a minute, let him think it through, and then we just, like, when he's done thinking it through, like we just talk about it, and then we're able to, because the subject was how, because they do real estate together, right? They look for properties together or whatever, and he has his way of looking at things, she has her way of looking at things, and she knows that like he needs to have this moment to himself real quick, think it through, and then they meet each other in the middle, and then they're able to land the property, do what they need to do with the property, and make their money off that property. This is something that has been working for them since they've realized how they think.
But I mean, this is a true story. Right?
This is a true story. This I'm like just trying to like.
Of course, it's a true story.
Just trying to show like the essence of a good couple, right? Like they remind me of my aunt and uncle, like, cause they're like there's not that many examples. I have a big family, and there's not that many examples of beautiful relationships, right? Mm-hmm. So the ones that I'm able to see, I see what they have in common. It's the way that they're able to communicate and understand one another. Like, oh, like when I know my husband is like this, when this is this. You know what I'm saying? Because of the way they are. I know my wife is like this because this, that, and the third. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they've been married for 20 plus years. You know what I'm saying? And you look at them and you would think they just got married.
I envy that.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and it's almost like, damn, like it almost puts like a little pressure on you, right? Like
hell yeah.
Like, then you start thinking about your generation. Like, yo, my generation is kind of trash. Yo, we stay ghosting each other. We stay.
It's kind of fucked up, bro.
You know, like we don't try anymore in relationships, right? Like, where it's just like the moment that something major happens in a relationship, mm-hmm. not like a little scuffle fight, like, you know, your boyfriend kept, the clothes on the floor or whatever, or, your girlfriend keeps leaving hair in the fucking sink. No, we talking about like real problems, right? Like, whether it's money issues, whether it's, friends are gossiping, kids, or
just like
jobs, like
ownership of land or like whatever.
Yeah, anything anything that's major, right? Like,
right.
As soon as something major happens, it's almost like, yo, I don't think this can work out. Mm-hmm. I don't think this can happen.
I mean, that's a true testament to like somebody's relationship. It's like you're gonna find out how strong your relationship is, but when you have those moments of, I guess, friction,
mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know, I feel like for me it's interesting to see like just that simplicity of like the people, mm-hmm. and or the complexity of those people, mm-hmm. But like trying to think about like film that's like really Marriage Story. Yeah, Marriage Story.
Wow, it's like the perfect film.
Yeah, it's a great story for exactly what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. How they still remain to be able to work around each other, and then and not even so much for their work, but more so for their child. Yeah, which was something that was like truly like, I mean, I don't have a kid, but like that was still nice to see.
Yeah. I mean, like coming from being a child of divorced parents, right? Like, I have to not only learn from couples that work, I also gotta learn from couples that don't work. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can see, and even like my friends, right?
I'd say
like
more so from the ones that don't. You gotta learn more because then you know what to avoid from that point. Mm-hmm.
I see some of my friends and even some of my family members is like they have baby mom trouble issues or baby father issues, and it's like
I'm not saying but like in general, like if I experience that, I'll be like, I would never want to be in that situation. Yeah. Like I would never want to go through that.
Yeah, and it's like, it sucks that like, there are good people that go through shit like that, where it's just like they're dealing with a person that they've had a kid with, whether they decided to have a kid with this person or not, that it's like, damn, I gotta suffer with this motherfucker until my kid is of age. You know what I'm saying? Like, where it's like there's no need for this type of friction. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And like, and even with those couples, right, that can't work together in these predicaments, I look at the ones that are able to still work with each other. They might not be together, but they're able to meet in the middle and be like, all right, we're going to be dealing with each other for the rest of our life, you know? So until this, you know, for as long as this kid is alive, you know what I'm saying? We're going to be dealing with each other. So give me the weekends, you know what I'm saying? And let me get, like, at least every month or so, let me get them for, like, you know, the week or so or whatever, you know? Like, you know, they work things out. You figure it out. And they do that. But I don't know, just going back full circle to like media and like how we deal with even our situations, right? Because sometimes you watch a TV show or listen to a song that relates to what you're going through.
It's only 30 minutes.
Yeah, and sometimes it dictates. You don't realize how influenced you are by these things that we watch and hear.
Storytelling, man.
That like it could also kind of dictate your decision.
Yeah, like
absolutely.
It teaches you how to, and that's how I've learned a lot of things about life and myself is like through watching movies.
Yeah.
And another key part of that is like, you want to know how to talk to a girl when you want to know, you know, how to tell you like her. Go watch a movie and see how he does it.
Yeah.
Like do the same thing. That's what I'll always do. Like,
yeah, but you gotta be careful with
that
that too.
Absolutely, bro.
But you know, these things do take place in our life, and so we carry them with them. We carry them with us every day. But I mean, I don't know. Like, think about like other like types of like love, like, you know, brotherly and sisterly love for like everybody else. I know that's not like the whole scope of Valentine's Day, but I mean, I think it's just good for.
That's a good way to think of it, actually.
You know, just
because it is Black History Month too.
Yeah, it is as well. So it's just, you know.
Yeah, maybe we need to stop focusing on a quote unquote significant other and just like, you know, everybody around us and say.
Yeah.
But then that's not the same thing as romance. You know,
Yeah.
It's like you get into that gray area, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
We ain't on that Alabama shit.
Right, but yeah, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is show love to whoever you can, and you know, if somebody comes along.
We all need a little love.
Yeah. But I guess to bring it back to the whole, you know, romance aspect of it, from my experience, I find that, you know, like talking to people who've gone through it as opposed to just, you know, observing. I mean, observing is one thing and talking is another, but like talking to them and like seeing how they feel about certain situations. I mean, you don't want to pry, but at the same time, it's like you don't have to ask super, you know, loaded questions. Just be like, yo, what happened here? And then be like, a lot of times I can like invite them to give you more insight on what happened with their past person, and that can kind of bring light to, oh, so she or he did XYZ to you. That's very similar to what this person did to me, and that kind of like helps you, I don't know, connect the dots, and so you know how to approach it. But yeah, who knows?
You know, another thing too that like a lot of these like media stuff that we watch, it low-key helped me deal with rejection too.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you see like the a character that you may relate to, that likes a girl that like is probably above his league or whatever, and it's just like whenever like when he gets that loss, like she says no or whatever, like to be able to deal with that, you know? Yeah,
it's tough.
You know, so I mean, shouts out to Nadia, first grade. She was the first one to reject me. So ever since then, I knew how to deal with rejection. Like, all right, it's all good.
Real life experience.
Yeah, you become numb to it after a while. I mean, from my perspective, it's just like, all right, so I got rejected by all these. Like, after the first 3 rejections, you're kind of like, all right, you kind of understand what they want. You also kind of understand, like, what you have to do in order to give them what they want.
Yeah.
And you also by talking to them, you realize, oh, what do I actually want out of that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the first time you get really like you start to self-analyze.
Exactly. And then the whole like rejection thing is like the second thought. You don't even care. I mean, personally, I don't. I mean, I care. Obviously, you don't like wasting your time or like you know. I guess disclosure. We're all single on the spot. Okay,
yes,
so
yes.
that probably so that probably like shed some light on the topics we're discussing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, after those 3 first rejections, you kind of like, all right, well, I guess it's more of you gotta come at it more pragmatically, you know, or you really have to strategize about what you want, because you know, otherwise, if you don't really know what you want, then it's kind of pointless, you know.
Like in the dating scene or whatever, like I wish that like there were more guys could deal with rejection, because I've seen where like, you know, you go to clubs or you go to bars or whatever, and you could observe the area, and it's just like dude gets rejected, and it's just like calling all types of shit, and it's just like, you don't gotta do that, just go on to the next one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I get it, she bad, but like, but
it's like a lot of
but
fish
like,
in the sea.
yo, just like now, just
in
leave
the
it
sea.
up to your imagination, bro. Like, go on to the next. Like, it sucks, but it's whatever.
It is what it is, you know.
But how do y'all feel about like, you know, like in a lot of these romance movies we see in the beginning it's like eccentric or, you know, a very interesting man, but like most of the time if that relationship continues he becomes this like stoic zombie who is just kind of passive at that point, you know? Like do y'all like, I mean, it's probably a good observation from like the trends, but like do y'all feel like that's an accurate?
I know a lot of stoic or passive old men, if that's what you're asking. Like I see that in a lot of older people that I've been around, you know. So I do kind of think that the movies or whatever shows that we consume that portray that are somewhat accurate. Why that transpires, I can't say. Who knows? I feel like a lot of, not even just with the men, but the women too. And I hate to, you know, sound negative, but a lot of relationships, to go back to relationships that don't work, you know what I mean? Like that kind of ends up what happening. You can work well together, but you can like also hate each other too, you know, or you can like resent the person very strongly. But at the same time, you're kind of dependent on them. And when you have the dependency, but also that resentment, that can kind of turn into like this weird, like you can kind of turn into a zombie essentially, which is what, you know, I guess I'm saying I kind of observe in a lot of people. It's unfortunate, but you know, it's a reality.
Yeah. It's more like a lot of these couples, I've noticed that they're together out of security.
Yeah.
It's not really based on love.
Traditionally, though, like if you think historically or genetically, whatever, like that's how we're kind of wired. You know, like we're like,
you need a level of security.
Yeah, it's like this person protects me, this person provides for me, this person does X, Y, Z for me. Yeah. So it's like it checks all the boxes. You know what I mean?
And I think the couples that like are like, you know, that stand out are the ones that have both, right? They got the love and they have the security. Because like there's something that like even my brother said to me, right? Like he was saying to me, like, you want to be with somebody that's gonna be there for you thick and thin, right? Like if you know that like you're gonna be homeless, you're gonna be there with you. And ladies, not to be like, oh hell nah, right? Like you gotta hear it out on the root level, right? Like we ain't getting homeless because of, you know, because I decided to gamble the house away. You know what I'm saying? Like we're talking about like we had a plan that we both agreed on. You know what I'm saying? And we're working towards that plan, but things happen, right? Where
Of course.
you get injured at work, or
You lose your
your job, or
you get evicted from your house, apartment.
Or something happens that's just like mental health issues come in, and like the way you move is different now. Like so many things just happen.
A lot of
right?
variables.
Yeah, variables that just happen where it causes a domino effect, and a situation happens, and it's just like, oh no, now we might lose the house or whatever, and like, you know what I'm saying? But if a situation like that happens, you want to be with somebody that is like, okay, yes, it's gonna be a stressful time, but I'm here for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like
ride or die.
Yeah, like if this is what if this is what we have to do in order to get to somewhere else, that's what we gotta do. And my brother was in a similar situation, right? Where they didn't go homeless. It wasn't like straight up like, get a box on the street homeless. It was like the house is on fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got mad kids, so he got to go to a motel, fit all these kids in there, while he's hustling to get a new house, all in the process, while, doing a whole lot of other shit. His wife got to do a whole lot of other shit as well, too.
They're scrambling.
Scrambling, and this was happening for months.
This isn't just like a short period.
Yes, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And for him, it was like, when they finally got out of that situation, got the new house, this, that, and the third, everything started working out. Now it's like he sees his wife differently.
Like in a positive way? Or
yeah, in a positive way. Like, he sees his wife like, before he was seeing his wife grand, you know what I'm saying? But like now it was beyond that, right? Because now it's like, oh, like, I know if anything ever happens to me, she really has my back. Because this situation will literally make any couple divorce.
Yeah. So you gotta be really
like, are committed. We in our heads? Like, what are we really doing?
So I really fuck with you.
Like, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever little situation that like my brother would do that's annoying would be extra annoying because they're in a high stressful situation.
Yeah.
I've always said like whatever like couples go through, if money situations is like an issue, it would make any other issue even more grand.
It exacerbates everything.
Yeah. Especially if there's like no true plan to like fix the situation.
Or you can't find or see there. Yeah, like you said, there's no solution.
There's no it feels like there's no solution because there's no common ground. There's no meeting in the middle. There's no compromise. There's no none of that because it's like I can't deal with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like when you see couples that have gone through similar situations and the way they've gotten out of that situation, you're like, oh, okay, like
it's possible.
It's possible,
right? Yeah. Yeah.
No, it just takes like two dedicated people who are just like willing to take that journey, and stick it out to the end.
But how do you know?
Yeah, that was the follow-up question.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah.
No. Like, I was agreeing with you because I know you were about to say, like, how do you know? And I was just like, that's something.
I mean,
sorry. I was
no, it's okay.
To get to the point that Mike was bringing up earlier, is like in today's dating climate, nobody even wants to even try. Nobody wants to even like makes themselves vulnerable. It's always like, how can I flex on this person? Like, how can I have one up on this other person? We don't allow ourselves to be exposed to a vulnerability where we come up with those questions because we just have in the back of our minds, it's like, oh, if I don't like you, it's next. We have so many options at our disposal. Why would I even put any effort into the person in front of me right now? And I don't know if that could be good or bad, you know what I mean? Yeah. There's no right or wrong, but it's just like it goes so against the tradition of the way things have worked for the entirety of human civilization. So yeah, that's all I have to say on that.
I'm gonna just go back to Marriage Story. Like, I think that worked out,
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're at the end of the day, I guess at the end of the day, I guess it's about like, are you still breathing? Are you still able to provide? Do you still have a roof over your head? Very simple needs.
Yeah, but I mean, sure, you may be like physically sufficient, but like, are you emotionally happy?
Yeah.
I feel like as Americans, we're so fucked, like in terms of like, well, obviously Mike's not American, but me and him.
I got dual citizenship.
Okay, well, my bad. He's 50% American. But yeah, it's like the way we work. Like we come from this mentality where I want whatever I want whenever I want it. You know what I mean? And it's just, I don't know. Like whenever I'm exposed to people from different countries or have completely different type of lives, it's like, oh, I'm like the one that's like bugging. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm like the one that thinks I have expectations that are just so unrealistic to these people. Yeah. But for me, it's like, nah, this is like this is like the base level shit that I expect.
Like this is normal.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we shouldn't look up to like those.
What we see on media, you know what I'm saying? Like what we see on media is like the super westernized, like Hollywood versions of like some person's like interpretation on a relationship, when we really need to be seeing what's in. I don't know. I don't want to preach to people, so.
I mean, no, but
you've been preaching all this.
I guess I have.
I mean, like, media makes love look super easy, as well too. Like mainstream media makes love super easy, but in actuality, it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like I guess there's two things. There's 2 points, right? Like, love sounds like a really dope idea, right? The idea of it, like, oh my God, like being with somebody who can be with me through thick and thin, and I could be with them through thick and thin. That sounds like a dope ass idea. Like,
it does,
because we walk in this world alone, in a sense, right? Like, we're individuals. Like, the way America works is very individualistic. It's only you. It's not like being in the Caribbean or in Africa or in certain places in Asia where it's more community based. You're not rarely alone.
Right.
Here you're more isolated. You're isolated. Like, there are more times that you remember of yourself being alone than you are with other people.
Absolutely, yep.
So the idea of love sounds super dope, because now you have somebody you could be alone with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't feel so alone. But the actuality of it is actually super hard. You know what I'm saying? Because it sounds great when the honeymoon is there, right? Because it's like, yo, this is brand new. Like, the spark is there. But then when shit gets real, right? Like, because now it's like you're building a life with this person.
Yeah. There's no escape. You're like trapped.
Yeah, so now you're thinking to yourself, like, how do I even know? Yeah. Like, how do I even know this person is the one?
You don't. You create the one.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are people that believe there's a soulmate, there's one soulmate for one individual.
Bullshit.
And then in actuality, it's like, no, like, there's people that I've met where it's just like, yo, the chemistry is on point.
It's like, for me, it's like, if I wanted to, I can be compatible with anybody, I just be like, all right, this is how you are, this is how I am. If they're compatible with me, I can be compatible with them. That's just how I feel about it. So yeah, that whole love thing, it's kind of like, I guess, but, I don't like to put all my eggs in one basket.
Mm-hmm. I would love for someone to challenge that for me. Mm-hmm. The idea of it, right? Yeah. Where it's just like, if I was to meet someone who really was like really represented something that's like good for the both of us, right? Because like, I would love to be that person for like, we like, we're selfless beings too, right? Like, we all have this idea of like this perfect person for us, right? But we also have to be that person for them, because then it would feel one-sided, where it's just like...
But a lot of times it is one-sided.
What do you mean?
unrequited love, but I mean, not exactly in that like extreme, but I guess just like someone's chasing the other.
Oh yeah, the pursuer and the.
Yeah, I mean the guy always gotta like do the pursuit, right?
I mean, in the beginning, but I mean like emotionally, like who's more invested?
I don't know. I'm not. I have no experience with anybody, so I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Well, I don't know. I just all I was going with was that like as individuals, sometimes we have this image of who we want in our lives, but then you also have to ask yourself, am I that person for that person that I want in my life?
Like, does that work with me?
Yeah.
You want to be that.
Like, you know that will work with you, but am I going to be able to work with them? Because they also have an idea of who they want for them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So when you approach them, are you that person for them? Right?
I feel like they are in the beginning, and then that dimension.
Yeah, but when the honeymoon phase is out and it's just like it gets real, like, all right, who are you as an individual?
Right.
Because it's like, yeah, you know, we're all. It's just like in an interview, right? When you go into a job, like you're gonna bring out your best self,
right?
And then when you finally get the job, you got that 3 months period where you ain't trying to get fired. You know what I'm saying?
You
and
try
then
to keep that.
you try to keep that job. But then after that 3rd month, that's when it's like, all right, man, I'm gonna just chill. Mm-hmm. We kind of do that with relationships too, right? Like where it's just like you meet the individual, that's the interview. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then it's just like, all right, you trying to be boyfriend, girlfriend, we trying to take this to the next step, like we're no longer in the talking phase. And it's just like, all right, cool. But then we have that 3-month period, that probation period. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, is this person still consistent with this, that, and the third? And then once you hit that, you know, 4 or 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever years that, like, you've been together, that's when it's just like, oh, okay, that's who you really are. Just, like, you ain't gonna change. Like, I don't think you're gonna change. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's where, like, these problems sort of, like, brew up.
Mm-hmm. That's honestly that's terrifying to me. That's so terrifying to me.
It is fucking terrifying because you think about it like you're giving a piece of your life to somebody, and this person is giving a piece of their life to you.
A significant piece.
Yeah, and like you're always going to hold on to that in a sense, right? Like you're always gonna have that, and they're always gonna have that, and like no matter how it is you separate, right? Like whether it's the worst type of breakup or it's just a cordial breakup, it's just like, all right, shake hands, we know what it is. You still like walk away from it like, okay, like this person will always have a part of me in a sense, right? Mm-hmm. Because you've given. If you're a lover, right? Like for those who are lovers out there, right? You know how it feels to give all of your love that you can give to someone.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it doesn't work out, you have to accept the fact that you gave all that love and that love is not going to come back. But it's okay. But because you are a lover, it's still in there. That you're able to give it out to the next person. Mm-hmm. You just gotta be just a little more cautious with the way you love, right? Like you don't want to go into love is blind, where like you're looking past the person's toxic flaws. You know what I'm saying? Like, and actually look at the person as an individual and be like, I know that I love you. I don't know if you're the one. Be honest about it. Yeah. But I know that I love you and I show all this love to you and I know that you show all this love to me, that I'm willing to go through these things with you.
I hear you. You know, you have to find the love to give in yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if you do fuck with me, like you were saying, like if you do fuck with my love, then it's like I'm going to separate myself from it. It's going to hurt because I love you, but I'm going to have to separate myself from you.
No, that's facts. That's facts. So, I mean, I guess it all comes down to what you're willing to give, you know, which is hard, especially for, no, I don't want to say especially for everybody, you know.
Yeah. I feel like I'm done talking about love.
We're all dudes here. We're
Yeah.
all single guys. So, I mean, I don't know if our ideas or thoughts can be any more dissected than what they are.
Ladies, if you got anything to say about love and media and all that, just throw it in the comment section.
Tell us what you think about love.
Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yep, we hope
Happy Valentine's Day.
You find love and our love and give love.
But I have one more question for you guys.
What's up?
So, what is there? Who? I mean, you don't have to say their name, but who? Like, what was the worst breakup you had?
God damn. The worst one? I would say my most recent one. Just because, like, for me, it was true love. Like, for me. So, like, even though it was like, all right, we gotta, like, I understand we gotta separate. So we didn't leave off as, like, mortal fucking enemies or anything like that. It's just like, I understand we gotta separate. And even though it was like that, it still hurt. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, it still hurt. Like, damn, like, all right, I have to go back to the drawing board on myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And just, like, work on me. You know? Yeah, so I would say that.
So, what is there anything you watched that helped you?
I would say Georgia Smith helped me out.
Okay.
Yeah. Georgia
musician?
Smith. Yeah. Georgia Smith helped me out. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I think she has some, like, really dope songs that was just like, yo, yeah, you're hitting the core right now.
Hey, no, she hits it on the head.
Yeah, I was like, yo, one thing I did not want. Yo, this is why, like, I've mentioned to somebody before. Like, if I didn't have R&B music in my life, I'd probably be a cold motherfucker, yo, because I didn't want to listen to rap because it took me a while, like, because I was just like, until, like, when I wanted to get mad, I listened to rap, like when I go to the gym, work out or whatever. But when I wanted to get in my feels and, like, listen to shit, like, R&B was like, all right, I'm gonna listen to this shit.
Yeah.
I'd rather listen to this. Keep that love. But you don't, like, one thing you want to learn too, right? When you do give love, is that you don't want to turn cold. Don't turn cold. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't work out, but still hold on to your love. You know what I'm saying? Because you can give your love in different aspects, right? It doesn't have to be in a relationship. It can be in a moment, right? Where, like, you go on one date with a girl or whatever, and you can give that love just for that one date.
Right.
Because that date that you're going on might change her trajectory in a positive way.
The love you're giving her.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I do agree with that, but, like, I feel like it is a little dangerous.
It is, but this is why you have to love with conscience,
Right.
not with blindness, right?
Right.
If you're gonna give love, just know that you're giving this love, but just know that you give it to a certain point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and when the rejection does happen, or if there's a time where y'all two gotta separate, it doesn't hurt. Like, it's like, look, I understand that this was for a moment. And you always be honest about it, right? You gotta be honest with your intentions too, right? Like, you're not just, we're not at that age anymore where we're lying to girls just to sleep with them.
I think Omega still might be at that age.
Well, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you 22. So.
Oh man.
But
that's like the age.
Yeah, that's the age where you telling them you going to medical
Enjoy
school
while
and
last.
shit.
Oh boy.
But like now at my age, it's like I find myself being way more honest than I used to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the older I get, the more honest I'm becoming.
Yeah, the less you give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know, the older you get, the less you give a fuck.
So it's like, look, this is who I am, right? Like, take it or leave it.
Yeah, I would say for me, I've not been in that many serious relationships. So, I guess I was just talking to a girl, and she moved, and she went to go do Peace Corps, and yeah, like, that was it. Like, it wasn't really we never.
Like you never reached out to her at the later or anything.
Nah, I mean, nah.
Hmm.
So,
The nice ones always get away, bro.
yeah, it's tough, but you know, it is what it is. So.
Yeah.
But I guess if there was a movie or film that helped me confront or come to terms with that, I don't know. I think I'm just not the type. I don't think I'm the type of person to.
Is it a musician?
Oh yeah, definitely music. I gotta say music. All right.
Is there anybody like jazz, blues, or?
So many, but I don't know if it's like they help. It's like I guess a genre in general to what Mike was saying, how R&B kind of helped him not be the cold person he was.
Mm-hmm.
It did help me confront, was I being the type of person that this music is saying I shouldn't be?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I could give it to one particular artist or song, but genres in general, they kind of shed light on that type of thing, I guess.
You?
Probably in high school. That's I didn't date a lot in high school, but when I did, I took it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But there's there was this girl, and then we were dating for a minute, and then one day she was just like, "I'm sorry." It's but it's always worse when you get no explanation. It's because you literally can't have no frame of reference of what you did.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're never gonna get that.
Yeah,
you're never ever gonna get that frame of reference. So it's up to you to just put the pieces together in your head and say, this particular moment, what did I do, or was it this particular moment? And you're never gonna get it. So the best thing to do is just say fuck it all.
Yeah,
from my perspective.
But that's how motherfuckers turn cold, yo.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened for me, and especially I was going through a tough time too. And
but what else is there? I mean, I feel like that's just the human condition. You love and you lose and you turn. I mean, you just have to be able to find your way back to go back to what Mike said. Just be able to find it deep in your heart. Type shit. But yeah, it's corny, but it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I mean, we're all gonna lose something in this life, and being in New York especially taught me this. It's monogamy is has its own structural weaknesses, I guess. Mm-hmm. But you can lose someone and feel that that loss of love. But I feel the only thing that's really important is first the love you give yourself, because you can't really love anybody else until you love yourself. And then, and just trying to be perceptive to other people, whether it's your spouse or a friend or, or a coworker or whatever. I'm not saying you have to be open to everybody, but, just
be consciously open.
Yeah.
Be aware of your shit, You also gotta know if you're toxic, you gotta learn that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta learn.
Oh, definitely.
I think that's another thing too. If you're single out there, you know what I'm saying? This is the perfect time to work on you as an individual. You know what I'm saying? You as be the person that you want to be. You know what I'm saying? If you gotta write that person down on a notebook, do that. You know what I'm saying?
Be the person that you want.
I think one of the dopest things that y'all might think is corny, I don't care, but one of the dopest things I feel like I've done was I wrote myself a contract. You know what I'm saying? Sign that shit, and every once in a while, I read it to sort of just remind me of my where I'm going. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even about finding love. It's just really finding yourself, right? Finding a higher consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Getting. You want to get wise. You know what I'm saying? With age, you don't want to get stupid. You want to find yourself. I see a lot of people sometimes they date the same person for a long ass time, right? And it's just the same type of men, same type of women.
You mean they aren't the same person, but they act like they do the same things?
No, it's like you know how sometimes we hear women say there's a bunch of ain't shit niggas out. You know what I'm saying?
It's like that's like the most far from true
Yeah,
bullshit.
and,
shit.
yeah,
Like,
you know what I'm saying. And you as a guy, right? Like you hear it, you start to feel like you start to question yourself. Like, I ain't shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but like a lot of these like type of women that say that
are only
like, when
checking for a certain type of niggas.
That and they like it's almost as if like they're not checking themselves, right? Like what is it about you that's attracting these ain't shit niggas?
Mm-hmm.
Because I could understand if you were in your early 20s, you know what I'm saying that if you was Omega's age, right? Like I could understand you saying that at you're in college saying that shit. I could understand that, but like a lot of us now are pushing 30s or in our 30s. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I don't know the age spectrum that's listening to this. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm assuming, our target is y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like the 20s and 30s. You know what I'm saying? Like once you hit 30s, 40s, if you're still attracting the same type of niggas that you've been dealing with in your 20s, then it's like, all right, you really gotta assess yourself. Like yo, I'm 42, still dealing with men that are like in the teenage mentality. Like.
Mm-hmm. You know,
It's tough because like I don't know where they. I don't want to pass judgment or speculate, but it's not easy meeting new people, and a lot of times they don't have the option of choose. Like, I guess they do have an option, but it's so different between sexes.
Mm-hmm.
About like your pool that you select from. You might only have so much leverage of how that pool is like made, so I don't know, stuff.
Alright. Well, I feel like we did like a whole other part of this shit.
Yeah. We went from, I liked it though. I think this is one of
we
our
got some
best
good
episodes,
convo.
And I think, if you're still listening to this, you liked it too, because you're here after an hour and you're a dedicated fan. And
we love you for that. Truly.
You almost up.
So much love going around, baby.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna get my Barry White on, baby.
Alright, Omega. Alright, have a good night, y'all. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, at the Michelle Film Club. Subscribe, share, and like, and share with everyone. And if there's things that you agreed with us, things that you disagree with us, put it on the comment section. Have a good night, a good day, wherever y'all at, and happy Valentine's Day.